Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Common Sense Academy. I'm Joe Palmetto, Joe the lawyer. I know my lighting is off a little bit today, and that's because I'm sitting on my couch instead of in my normal studio area. You know, we're all a little extra relaxed right now because of coronavirus, so I'm taking a little more relaxed setting today. Um, Thank you, everyone, for joining. I already got a couple of comments here. Greatest American hero. Hope this addresses Governor Wolf's ridiculous order that customers be required to wear masks for them. Yeah, I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that in a second if that's what you want to hear about. Greatest American hero. Thank you for joining me. Cat Slave. Thank you for jumping in. This is Joe Palmetto, Joe the lawyer, Common Sense Academy, whatever you guys want to talk about, legal stuff. Hey, Chief. Hey, James. Thanks for joining me. Whatever it is you would like to chat about, I'm here to chat about. A couple of my latest videos, I included we talked about the micronation of homily. The microstate of homily was set up by some sovereign citizens. I don't know if that was real or fake. I think it was real. I didn't know at the time that I made the video, but homily is the land of Puff the Magic Dragon. Thank you, one of my viewers, for dropping that comment. Puff the Magic Dragon lives by the sea. I didn't make that connection originally. But that was provided to me by one of my viewers. So thank you very much. A little micronation where they give out hugs in exchange for the coronavirus. Give me a hug. Give me corona. Come on in. Come on in. Just too freaking hilarious. Too funny for me. Let's see. I also did a video on the guy who went into the post office and lodged a 5-minute customer service complaint over email. He threw out almost all of the sovereign citizen tricks in the book. He came up with some really creative titles as well and fake law names. I swear, part of the sovereign citizen thing is if we have really, really elegant and powerful sounding words for everything, then it reeks of authority. Unfortunately, that's actually is effective. Like our buddy Anthony Williams, who walked around telling people he's a private attorney general. Like you hear that, it sounds good. Oh, common, people don't know the law well. Most people don't have no reason to. Okay. Oh, he's got a common law firm and he's a private attorney general. This guy sounds what he's talking about. Put some clothes on. He'd walk around with handcuffs and I think pepper spray. Looks like he's real official. He's like this quasi attorney / sheriff. It's just so hilarious. But yeah, I did. So what was that video? Oh, the guy in Canada complaining about the post office. These poor post office workers, man, they are the targets of sovereign citizens. Hey, Adam, how you doing? They are the target of sovereign citizens and First Amendment auditors. It's crazy. My dad worked at the post office for 30 some years. My big Taco Bell cup. Hello, everybody. Hello to the jarheads. That clown has a bunch of video. He threatens to make everybody broke. He's a real whack job. Yeah, he threatened to send the invoices and the liens. Go ahead, send the fake liens, man. They're putting people in jail like crazy. They are putting people in jail. How's the book coming? It's going pretty good, Chief. This week I kind of fell off the wagon in the book. I was doing 500 to 1,000 words a day. Let me see where I'm at today. I'm going to open it up. I was doing 500 to 1,000, was really rolling. And then this week and over the weekend and then today I fell off. Let me see here. Currently at 14,153 words, but about 100, 200 of those. I'm more at about 12. I would say probably about 1,000 of those words is just like stuff that's not actually going to go into the book. So I'm at 13,000 words. I think when I get to, I think I'm a little more than halfway there. So we're probably 2 to 3 weeks away. And then it might take me another week to really fix it up. I'd like to shorten that. I'd rather not have it take another month. I had no idea how freaking like how much work it actually is. It's a lot of work. Absolutely, Chief. I got you. Absolutely. And the portion that you contributed to, I will draft that up. I'll send that to you, Chief, so that you see exactly what it is that will be going in the book. You can also go ahead and edit it, give me modifications, etc. Hi, Mary from Kent, Ohio. Hello, Fraser Williams from the UK. Thanks for joining us from across the pond. Hello, Klamath Falls, Oregon. Fell off the wagon. Yeah, I was right. I was on the wagon of the book writing. Can a person with a PhD from out of state file a SUP? I'm not sure what that means, Adam. Give me a little more on that question. You're almost up to soft sip words at a traffic stop. I know, right? I know. How did this sovereign citizen stuff get started? That's a good question. That is going to be addressed in much more detail in my book. It appears that this guy, so the guy who started this William P. Gale, who I researched, he was actually an officer in World War II, served besides General Douglas MacArthur in the Pacific, and he gets out of the war, and I think he lived out in Arizona, and he becomes a pastor. He may have been a pastor. He becomes a pastor, and he's a preacher, and at some point he becomes this sort of anti-government individual. Now, the root of it, even his words and what the early portion of the movement was very anti-tax. The government, and there's weird things in the Constitution and the federal law. I mean, I'll acknowledge that about the power to tax. So it was kind of like this anti-tax movement. Well, this William P. Gale sort of puts his twist on it with the whole Posse Comitatus thing. And I go into this whole thing. Posse Comitatus is actually almost an ancient concept. And what Posse Comitatus, MacArthur was, whew, I mean, he was a hell of a general. All right. I'm not, but he wanted to nuke China in the Korean War. Maybe he was onto something. But probably not. Anyway, so the Posse Comitatus, the concept itself actually goes back to the English Civil War. And I go into this in detail in the book. I just actually learned a lot of this. Posse Comitatus goes back. Let's go back even a little further. It was a Latin Roman phrase, which means something along the lines, I can't remember off the top of my head, but like by the county, for the county. So even the concepts of counties grew out of the old Roman Empire and the way that the Romans, cut up their territories in France, Britain, Italy, even Spain. Okay, so there's this Latin word, Posse Comitatus, by the county, for the county, sort of the self-government thing. And fast forward to the English Civil War, which occurred in the 1500s, which is absolutely fascinating from a historical perspective to read and learn about the English Civil War. It was a brutal conflict. Anyway, in the English it's called the English Revolution or the English Civil War. Okay, during that war, there were two factions, because England, even before that time, England had a king and a parliament, Parliament developed over the centuries. By the 1500s, England has a pretty developed parliament, which you can view as the interests of the nobles, the landholders throughout the land, and then you have the king. Well, a certain king got into power King Charles, who did not want to share his power with Parliament almost at all. And they start butting heads over a 10 to 15 year period. And eventually it breaks out into war. Well, the king's men were called the royalists. the men who fought for parliament were called the parliamentarians. Okay, they're also called the Cavaliers and the Roundheads. Regardless, both sides would go to these different counties and attempt to round up men. So, someone from the parliamentary army might go to a town in England or a county in England and say, look, I'm basically drafting the men or negotiating with them to get men to support the army. Okay. And that was referred to sort of as Posse Comitatus. After the English Civil War, this concept of a sheriff being able to empower the local people and deputize them as sheriff's deputies became attached to the word Posse Comitatus. All right. It actually became law in England and the United States. Fast forward to the 20th century, William P. Gale, he hangs on to that idea and basically says that a sheriff in a county is the largest legitimate governmental unit in the country, right? Like the federal governments in the states don't have any power over the sheriffs and the counties, all right? And eventually the sovereign citizen movement is born out of that and sort of the tax protesters. And I also think that this is a leap that I'm making, but in the 1960s, right? There's all sorts of counterculture groups. It's kind of like a cultural revolution for the United States. So on one end you got hippies, you got bikers, you got beatniks. I actually. In the book, I talk about this. I'm no scientist or doctor on this, all right, political philosopher, whatever. But I think that the sovereign citizen movement sort of gained steam in the 60s and 70s, or at least Posse Comitatus, because of the whole countercultural mood of the country itself. And then in the late 70s, the whole concept of Posse Comitatus goes down. And then in the 80s is when you see the sovereign citizen idea sort of take hold. Hey, William, thank you very much. That was an extremely generous super chat. Is there something that you want me to discuss? And again, I appreciate that you love my videos, and I appreciate the donation very, very much. I want to eventually I want to get have a room in my house dedicated to my YouTube studio, like these big time YouTubers do. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll get there. William, but did you have a particular question that you would like to ask me? I'd be more than happy to address it directly. Chief, I haven't watched all of them yet, but I will. I will get to them for sure. That picture with Hirohito and the Emperor, though, Bob, that was a strategic move, right? Because he was trying to send a message to the Japanese people that the United States was in charge now. Like, we let you keep the Emperor, all right, but we are in charge now. That was like a piece of propaganda sent out to the United States, or I'm sorry, the people of Japan. I don't think that was just a pure ego play. I'm sure it fed his ego too, though. Happy Jackie Robinson Day. Amen to that. Jackie Robinson is an American original and an American hero in this country. Absolutely. It's too bad that we're not there. There's no baseball today. I love baseball. I miss it. Yeah, Robert, in a couple months, just follow my channel when the book, it's an ebook. I mean, it's going to cost $5, $6, $7, okay, $8, something like that. You can get a hard copy, or you can download a copy directly off Amazon. Whenever I publish it, it's self-published. It's not going to be fancy, but it's going to be well written. I think everybody's really going to enjoy it. Just a couple of bucks, buy it off Amazon. You can get it, you download it, or get it, very soon thereafter. Joe, we'd really like to know why the Sovs continue to try the same tactics when they clearly never work. I don't know how to answer that. I mean, I could answer that. Well, number one, every sovereign citizen, I think they all need to sort of every sovereign citizen has a first time, right? So some of the videos we see, this may be that sovereign's citizen's first time. So it's his turn to try out the nonsense. He's seen other people do it. He may think, oh, I'm going to be successful. So we don't know when it's their first time or when it's not their first time for a lot of them. So that's part of what's going on. Number two, some of them truly believe it, they internalize it. So they're going to use it over and over again, no matter what, because it's like their religion. They truly, truly believe it. They die hard or they're into it. And then number three, well, here's the other thing too, is it's like some of them get better at it. Like the guy, I swear, I'm not, I'm 37 years old. My memory's already going. Is that normal? Is that normal, everyone? The judge down in Florida that we all love and that I love, I can't remember his name. Anyway, when he has that exchange with the guy who says, I'm not so and so. I am the agent and settler for so and so, Tom Hall or whatever the hell it is. And you could tell it was not his first time. I can kind of tell with some of these sovereign citizens when it's their first time and when it's not. So the recent video that I did where I went into detail about the laws, like a 26-minute video, that guy, like I said, I felt like he was a new sovereign citizen or not that practiced. Okay. But the guy with Judge Hurley, thank you, everyone. Thank you. I know I'm not that old, but my memory's going. Maybe, I don't know. I got Joe Biden syndrome. The guy with Judge John Hurley, you could tell that he had done this before. And when he got up there before the judge, he's holding the podium. I mean, he was ready to go and he was just boom, 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 boom. And I knew that guy, and the judge had even said that he'd seen him before. But you could tell that guy didn't just study it, and that was his first time bouncing it off a judge. He had done this before. So I think too that some of them, their argument fails, and then they think, oh well, I missed this one thing that I didn't mention in this argument. There's two things. So then they sharpen it and they try it again, and so that's why we get them going over and over again. Yeah, they think it'll work for them, although it never works for anybody else. It's hard to explain. It's weird human psychology. Why on these do the cops look intimidated? They act differently and totally nicer. Don't they need to be trained to shut them down? Well, first of all, William, yeah, I think we see that happening. It's my opinion that most of the officer transactions, they do look to shut them down, and they seem mentally prepared, and they're like, I'm dealing with a sovereign citizen here, and they take a harder stance. I think that's 75% of the time, at least. Now, there is 25% of the time where the cops kind of go a little easier on them. Number one, sometimes they spit the sovereign citizen stuff, but they still have all the proper legal requirements. Number two, it might be a situation like driving without a registration where the officer would have given a warning to anybody. So they're just not treating the sovereign citizen differently than they would the average citizen. And number three, and I do believe that this happens, I think sometimes the police just don't want to deal with it that day. They see it and they know what they're getting into. And who knows, maybe it's the end of their shift and they want to go home. And right, they have to be professional. So, I think you get a combination of things. Number one, it's something that they would normally just give a warning out to. Number two, the sovereign may actually have the correct legal paperwork, therefore they give them the warning. Number three, I do think once in a while, but this is not the majority of videos, it does seem to me, and again, I'm just speculating. This is all I can't read their minds. We can't read their minds, but it does seem once in a while the officer just doesn't want to deal with it, and I can't blame them for taking that position, especially when it's a minor offense. So do us in EMS and fire, Chief. Sometimes it's hard. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Have you gotten a chance to see the police training video for sovereigns? Yes, I have seen it. I have seen it. Joe, do they keep trying because it works a couple of times until the police themselves learn it's just BS and no cops fall for it now? Um, well, that may be true. I mean, who knows, right? We're dealing with thousands and thousands of people. Once in a while, maybe it does work. Like Chief Tuttle said when he called in the one time, and I think this is certainly true. The sovereign citizen language, especially when dealing with the police or any government officials, honestly, it's a delay tactic and it's a buffering tactic. So, number one, they use it to delay. And sometimes, if you can delay something long enough, the person on the other side of you will just get frustrated and quit. I mean, it can work. And then number two, it creates distance and buffering so that your delay tactic can work. So once in a while, yeah, you see officers who don't, take the hard route. But again, I don't think that that's the majority of the time. I think the majority of the time, the officers are going to site, and then if the individual refuses commands, they direct them out of the vehicle, and then if they won't get out of the vehicle, they'll break the window and drag them out and arrest them. I mean, we've seen that many, many times. But we're talking about hundreds and hundreds of police interactions. I mean, there's probably a lot of these interactions that we never even see. Okay. So thousands of police interactions with sovereign citizens. Can a person with a PhD from out of state issue a subpoena? Or does a lawyer or judge? It has to be number one. So the subpoena is going to be issued from a court. So from like the court itself, but it has to be signed by a judge, and only attorneys or judges can generally issue subpoenas. I've never heard of a PhD issuing a subpoena, Adam. And if that's happening, I would look into that. I can't say for sure that that's incorrect, but I've never heard that. It's got to be an attorney or a judge. I recently had a cop stop me for driving like a jackass. I gave my license, registration, and insurance. He gave me a warning and sent me on my way. Right. I mean, so sometimes they may be just planning to letting you go. And then it's like, oh, it's a sovereign citizen. I'm just going to give them a warning. Is it illegal to flash headlights to warn oncoming traffic of a speed trap? I was threatened interference. Chief Tuttle or anybody on here who does EMS, maybe you guys can answer that. I honestly don't know, Chief. Is that illegal to flash up warning of a speed trap? I loved how Judge John Hurley told the guy in the video that as the agent he wasn't leaving jail. Yeah, that's a classic line. He goes, and when you see David Hall, tell him he's not getting out either. Yeah, that was hilarious. Yeah, James, on it. Yeah, I echo that. Thank you. I imagine EMS is crazy right now. You guys are probably working 24/7, might not even have all the necessary equipment. So thank you very much for doing the work that you do. It's incredibly needed, and our country is relying on it. I've met two kinds of sobs before. The scary ones are the ones that truly believe the rhetoric. Yeah, I agree with that, Lou. Some of them, I mean, like this Anthony Williams guy. I mean, he was sort of just a scammer, but we see these. There's a very dangerous side to them here because they've shot. I mean, they've murdered police officers before. I mean, it's absolutely horrific. Mm. I got some coffee too, so being home, being on lockdown, I basically drink caffeine with abandon right now. Hopefully, like everybody else. But thank you for joining me on this Wednesday night. I got my Common Sense Academy mug here. Get it out of the shine. Everyone, let's dedicate this drink, this cheers to all of our first responders out there working hard right now. EMS, fire, police. Also, all of our medical workers who maybe didn't want to be heroes, but they've turned into heroes over the last couple of weeks, working crazy hours, putting themselves at risk, not always having all the equipment they need. Overall, I think our hospitals, our medical, and our first responders have done an incredible job. So I am incredibly grateful. So raise your cup, your glass, your mug into the air. The Raiders are a football team, but they stink. Let's cheers for this. First responders, medical workers, even grocery store workers, post office workers, delivery people, people working in restaurants, putting themselves at risk right now. This is to you. I salute you. It tastes better when we sip together. Cheers. Good stuff. Good stuff. Hello, Veronica. Hello. I'm not the person, sir. Well, if you see the person, David Dahl, tell him he's not leaving either. I'm so sad that Judge John Hurley is out of that position. I mean, I know that happened a couple of years ago. I guess he's a common pleas court judge now. I don't know. My mom actually lives in Broward County, Florida. Maybe if I go down there to visit sometime, I'm going to go and sneak into Judge Hurley's court just to watch him. Did I ever, or is Permane Brothers open for takeout? William, yes, it is, and I had it. There's one not far from my house. I got a cap of coal. Judge Donald Thompson. No, is he a Western Pennsylvania judge? Never argued in front of him. Saw a Sav video this morning. Sav kept saying he was a free man. Judge replied, "You won't be free when I throw you in jail." Yeah. I just did a video on that. That might have been my video, Cat Slave. My 9-year-old neighbor is making face masks. Cheers. Oh, that's so cool, Sarah. That's so cool. Cheers. Slurp water. Water. We need water too. Oh yeah, what do you guys think if you watch my newest video? I was making that video and I had no idea it was going to be almost a half hour long. Like sometimes when you get into these videos and I'm talking, like if I don't purposely record it, I have no idea how long it is. So I put all the content for that together and I pieced it together into my little video editor. And I was like, holy crap, 27 minutes. Number one, did you guys like that concept? And did you think it was too long? I'm being totally transparent here when I say that Audit the Audit is sort of been like, I really like his format that he does. Now he doesn't put himself on screen, which is fine. So I'm trying, but he does a good job of including the law and the commentary. Okay. And getting it all in like 15 minutes. Now I could probably do that. It will entail much more time for me to go into planning. The thing with Audit the Audit and what a lot of these YouTubers do is they write out a script. So that's literally, I put that video together probably in a couple of hours, but to write out a script and plan it all and time everything and get it all together along with the text and everything, I could do that. It takes a lot of work. It was interesting. I'm not too worried that it's too long, but if you want to share the video about one specific topic, it does make it tougher. You commented, James. Okay, I haven't read all the comments yet from it. I will. Don't touch your face. I know. Listen, hey, I'm here. I'm in the confines of my own home with freshly washed hands. I watch a lot of the videos on other channels, but I like watching it here for your commentary. Thank you, Lynn. Thank you. I mean, that's how my videos are different, right? Because I don't even catch the Sovereign Citizen videos first. I came across a Sovereign Citizen today when I was walking. Nah, really? Tell us about it. Your format was cool because you give the legal background as well as your 2 cents. When you can watch the Sov and actually learn something, that is amazing accomplishment. Keep that format. Thank you. here's my actual plan is when the book, so part of the book is I'm dissecting like specific sovereign citizen concepts, right? So for instance, what are they talking about when they say special appearance? What exactly are they talking about when they bring up the gold fringed flag? What are they referring to when they reference admiralty law? And I'm doing research on those. All right. So what the videos may morph into, but the thing is I'm not going to start doing that until I finish the book. All right. I only have so much free time. It all takes a lot of time. I'm going to show the sovereign citizen video, and then I'll reference in text what he's talking about. When the sovereign citizen says special appearance, they believe that by quoting that language, they can walk into a court and not be conceding jurisdiction to that court. Here's what special appearance actually means. Blah, blah, blah. It allows attorneys to go to different jurisdictions and plead their case. So the sovereign citizen is using it wrong, and he has a wrong interpretation of this word. And I might do that 2 or 3 times per video, break it down with text and everything. What do you guys think of that as a concept? I guess you'll probably have to see it. Sure, it's okay to pick it up off Van. Right. I mean, that's what I'm offering is, look, I get so many comments. They're like, you talk too much. I'm like, listen, that's my concept is me talking. Okay. If you don't want this concept, just watch Van Bayon's videos. He gets tons of views. He's a cool dude. Like, I love Van and what he does. I get my videos off him. Watch Van and that's great. But I offer something different. Just like signing contract in multicolored inks. Right. And what do they mean by, like, what are they referring to with capital letters? I mean, there's 1,000 different things. The gold fringe flag is something the Army is meant to honor the flag, and these maritime lawyers crack me up because maritime law has to do with the law of the sea. I know. It cracks me up too. All the gold fringe flag is just a fancier flag. I mean, it doesn't, but the sovereign citizens believe that if the gold fringe flag is in a courtroom, that's like a sure sign that it's a corporate courtroom. Different jurisdictions, like hearing a Quebec case in Nova Scotia. Yeah, exactly, Veronica. That's all special appearances. I saw Jeremy DeWitt was busted again. I didn't even know he was out of jail, but I guess he is. Silence is golden, duct tape is silver. I like your other channel too. Thank you, Lynn. I'm going to develop that channel more. And I'm trying to find out what works, but I'm just covering sort of like legal topics, legal news on that channel. They say using capital letters means you're a corporation. Right. Absolutely. The red thumbprint. Joe, have they ever met an Italian man? What? Who? The sovereigns? I don't know. They're part of a cult. They are basically a cult. Yeah, I have another channel. It's it's where I just do straight lawyer stuff. I'll drop you guys a link to it. I could use some more subscribers over there. I cover like legal related news on the other channel. So that's what that channel is. If you guys find that interesting, feel free to subscribe. I appreciate it. Do 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 do. What? Hold on. Let's do. Yeah, like here's a video I did just so I could copy the link. That's a video from my other channel. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys subscribe, even if you're not necessarily that interested in it. Go ahead, go over there and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs on that channel. 1,000 monetizes the channel. The damn road pirates. Right. The gold trim is just decoration. That's all it is. I actually think the word road pirate's kind of funny. Soft should read Mark Twain. It says, better to remain silent and be thought a fool than open your mouth. Oh, absolutely. If you come to Broward, we have Permanis here too, cash only on the beach. Yeah, William, I know. I've been down there with my mom. No same time sip, but I know it's more formal. Yeah, it's a little more formal. It's like I just don't want to use different concept. I like same time sip as here, Common Sense Academy. You can still take a sip every time you watch my videos. Little more formal, not too much more formal, but I think I'm trying to move that one into little bit more formal territory. Absolutely. Thank you, Cat Slave. Thank you for subscribing. What can legally happen to you if you are arrested ignoring quarantine? Why not? My meeting was canceled thanks to COVID-19. Well, I actually did a video on that in my other ones. So there was a woman in Pennsylvania who was cited for going on a joyride by the state police. And they cited her under the incorrect statute. And so the case was going to get thrown out. The DA actually withdrew it, but the case was going to get thrown out. Right now, I believe it is simply a summary offense. So you're just looking at a citation. I haven't read the law in detail, but you're basically looking at a fine right now for at least this is Pennsylvania only, but all that I've seen them doing is citing people for fines. So you get a fine, a couple $100 fine. That's what's going on. But if the police really wanted to, they could arrest you and take you home even on something like that. I like how all the Moors think the United States is actually Morocco. I know. I got to research that. I think I went into this. They believe that they are descended from an old kingdom from the Holy Land called the Kingdom of Moab, which is from modern day country of Jordan in the Middle East. And they believe that the Moabites, the people of the Kingdom of Moab, then moved into Africa and eventually moved into the United States and were here before. I don't know if they believe they were here before the American Indians. Actually, that's a good question. What is the Moorish explanation for Native American Indians? But they believe that they came over to the North America before, the Europeans got here. I think they believe that they're one and the same with the Native Americans. I'm not sure. I have to ask one. Anybody see Devin Bay's latest? He can't read, nor does he know what satire is. I'd enjoy it if cops, from being told I'm not an American, I am more, they turned him over and deported them. I know, right? Dun, dun. Has anyone seen the Moore vid of his eviction? And at the end, the cop says in response why he had to comply, and he said, "Because I'm the police." Right? Well, because I have a gun. First truck just turned out. We are next stop. Moors, they believe they're Native Americans here during the time of Pangea. Yeah, that's woo. Yeah, we're talking about really going back. BAO. I live in York County. The DA is dropping the charges. Yeah, I know. I did a video on that. I saw he dropped the charges. I think they are American Indians. There's a hypothesis merging among First Amendment commentators that remonstrance may be a remedy to criminal convictions that arise in the course of their they mean money? You mean like reparations? A forcefully reproachful protest. I'm not even sure what a remonstrance is, Shiva. A petition of remonstrance. I'm not sure what that is, honestly. Don't know what that is. I know a few Native Americans who have strong opinions. Yeah, I bet they do. They haven't seen the Moors with the headdresses. Apparently, they've not been in use. Yeah, I don't know what a remonstrance is. It looks like it's just a document, like telling somebody that they're wrong. A forcefully reproachful protest. I mean, it just sounds like a document laying out your protests. I mean, they can do what they want. They can sue if they believe that their constitutional rights are actually being, if their constitutional rights are actually being violated. Does the gun make police ethically correct? No, absolutely not. The oldest known Homo sapiens fossils dated about 315,000 years ago. In the United States, they don't go that far back in North and South America. Fossil discoveries for humans only go back about 13 to 16,000 years in the Americas, and the theory is that Homo sapiens humans crossed the Bering Strait, the land bridge through Alaska. So yeah, that 300,000 applies to Africa, most likely. I'm not even Canadian. I'm attending a law school in Canada. Are you really, Veronica? Good for you. Congratulations. Are you American, or what country are you from that you're attending law school in Canada? I went to law school with a Canadian here in the United States. Really nice guy. He was from, I believe, like a little bit outside of the Toronto area. That's awesome. University of Calgary. That's really cool. Good luck. I wish you all the best. Right, the gun is a tool. I mean, I was just joking when I said you have to listen to me because of my gun. You have to listen to police because if they give you lawful orders, okay, there's laws that allow them to tell you what to do. And the majority of the time they're enforcing lawful laws. Okay, I don't want to get into the lawful legal. The police are enforcing the laws. The best thing, the reason you listen to police, and once in a while, the police are going to be wrong, but you still need to listen to them. And then and if they did violate your rights, you can address that later on in court on your case, or if you want to file a civil case, you can go ahead and do that. Have you seen UK auditors? I haven't really seen too many UK auditors. That's probably something I should look into. That is something I will look into. Check out the UK, because we've seen UK sovereign citizens, we've seen Scottish sovereign citizens. I haven't seen any auditors. What is bond court doing now, Joe? ROR for most people. That's a good question, William. Actually, they're holding. So the judge is gonna set the bond basically from his house, doing video or just over the phone, and they're likely doing more ROR. But the courts are still hearing bond motions. So I've done that for several of my clients. I've filed bond motions for them, and we're doing bond hearings over the phone. The thing is that a bond hearing it's generally not an evidentiary hearing. So you don't have a lot of witnesses. You're not putting evidence on the record. You're just making arguments generally. Okay. So we've been doing bond hearings over the phone. One interesting thing that's happening is they're not giving people house arrest. So normally, sometimes you can get a bond. Your bond condition will be an ankle bracelet, and then you go home. Well, they don't want probation putting ankle bracelets on people due to possible COVID contamination. So they're doing what's called home confinement, where the judge is just entering an order for you to stay in your home, okay, but they can't monitor you with the electronic home monitoring. But they're still doing bond court. Hey, Deborah, thank you for listening from England. I appreciate it. I think it's a lot of fun. I get American. Most of my viewers are American, but I get a lot of Canadian and United Kingdom too, and I like it. Mostly the English-speaking world, but I think it's great. Hey, CW, glad you're here. Glad you're home from Indianapolis. We got Indianapolis. We got Ohio. Hello, all. ROR released on recognizance. Recognizance. Everybody wants me to pronounce the G. On recognizance. I don't know if the G is pronounced. I really don't know if the G is pronounced. Released on your own recognizance. Let me see.
Recognizance.
Okay, the G's pronounced. It's settled.
Recognizance.
Google says it is. I actually, yay, Governor Wolf, wear a mask and all. Yeah, he's making everybody at work wear the mask. Actually, at a UK as a client, as an immigration rep, I got certified so I can get some experience. So I even do my articling and hopefully get a job at a law firm. Awesome, awesome. He paid me $5,000 to ignore my evidence that he shouldn't try to immigrate to Canada given his legal charges. Trust me, Veronica, I have a lot of clients that pay me money and then ignore my advice. English-speaking world, that includes Kentucky. That's a good question, Barbecue Bob. Though Pittsburgh's not far from Kentucky, okay? I think we're a little Appalachian out here, too. Recognizance. It is pronounced with the G. You are correct. Let's hear it again. Let's hear it. Here it is.
Recognizance.
I thought the G was silent. My own fault. Reconnaissance. Well, yeah, but there are words that are different but are pronounced the same. You don't see UK auditors because of no First Amendment. Duh. Thank you, Mac. You're correct. Yeah, I mean, well, but was somebody playing a joke on me, or do they actually exist? Question regarding freedom of the press. Is it your view that the press refers to a special class of citizen or to a mode of communication? That's a good question. Honestly, I think it should be applied to probably the mode of communication. Because I mean, I do think if someone's making, that's a really good question. I would have to think about that, Shiva. I never thought about it. But off the top of my head, I mean, I do think somebody, people going out there, listen, I mean, you watch the news now and you get people who record things off of their phones. So this is really, really important stuff that people are recording on their phones, not just interactions with the police, but interactions with public officials, interactions between citizens that are done on on phones. And then they're then distributed to news networks or put up on Facebook or social media. I do think that should be protected. I think that is valuable information. I do. So, if that's what it comes down to, I think the mode should be protected. I would imagine the United Kingdom, even absent the First Amendment, has some sort of protections for individuals to record in public and express their speech. I have no idea. I don't know the law. I'm sure they're not called First Amendment. Maybe they're called, Article 37 auditors. So I would lean towards the mode of speech. The sovereign citizen I came across today asked me for my passport, and I live in Canada, even though last I remember, my neighborhood is still the United States. I'm confused by that, Adam. Hey, Taze, welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. I'm only going for about another 12 minutes. A lot of Canadian auditors. We can film and photograph in public. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, I know the UK doesn't have a First Amendment per se, but I'm sure, even though I don't know, that the UK protects speech in some way, shape, or form. Most countries of Western European heritage do that in one way or another. Western Canada is weird as is it really? That's interesting to me. Maybe I want to travel to Western Canada, see how weird it is. Joe, have you heard of the creationist YouTuber tax cheat Kent Hovind? He said on one of the videos he doesn't vote because the United States, yeah, well, he's a creationist YouTuber, tax cheat, and he thinks the U.S. is just a corporation. He's a sovereign citizen as well. Anon in the house. Okay. UK freedom audits is very funny. What was Joe's YouTube site? Here's my other page here. It's just a video from it, but check it out. Joe Dono, Black's Law Dictionary. Hello, hello. Well, so here's what I'll say about Black's Law Dictionary, Joe Donho. Hey, Robin. Hey, I'm only going for another 10 minutes, but thank you, everybody, for joining me. Here's what I'll say about, so doing my research for the book, I actually found that a lot of the right to travel nonsense that the sovereigns cite comes from an even older so there was a law dictionary. It's called like Beaumont or something like that. Beaumont's Law Dictionary that's been out of print for 100 years. And that is the law dictionary that sovereign citizens cite when it comes to the right to travel. It is hilarious. They are taking a 100-year-old out of print law dictionary and citing it as law. Okay, Black's Law Dictionary is not law. It's a helpful guide for people who want to understand what a lot of the words used in the law actually mean. But I will tell you, even this, it depends on the context of the word. The word may actually not even mean what Black's Law says it does. It depends entirely on the context. Thank you for subbing to my other channel, everybody. I truly appreciate that. I'm trying to get to 1,000 there. He's comic relief. Hovind is one of the funniest creationists just because he's so absurd. What's his channel? What's his channel? If anybody could link me to his channel. The sovereign citizen calls my neighborhood Canada. Where do you live? You live in Ohio, Adam. Then in the next debate, he said, he has a weekly segment where he knocks a toy SpongeBob, whack an atheist Wednesday. Usually posted on Thursday or Friday. Well, whatever. Hovind debates. His official channel is Kent Hovind Official. Let's take a look at that real quick. Okay. Kent Hovind Official. Whoops. Are you going to heaven? Oh, geez. Oh, man. This guy's really going to scare the crap out of people, isn't he? Dr. Kent Hovind, 1 Corinthians. Dr. Kent Hovind, Easter. What kind of doctor is he? You guys know what kind of doctor he is? I'll have to check out some of his videos. Yeah, I'm a criminal defense attorney. Though I have my own small practice. I do all kinds of stuff. I do personal injury, employment law, family law, contracts. The only thing I really don't do is estates and trusts. His doctorate is from a double wide. He's not a doctor. It was Nomad who died. He has an argument about elephants not evolving from peanuts, I think. Doctor of religious extremity. Alabama believe the Bible is literally true. A doctor of tax invasions. On quiet nights in Ohio, you can hear wolverines crying. So I was watching, I'm sure you guys have seen, many of you have seen that old video about the honey badger. And I recently watched a video on who would win in a fight between a honey badger and a wolverine. They are both like really, really ruthless, vicious animals. The honey badger is unbelievable. The craziest part about that, like the honey badger, is it will go to attack like a cobra, and the cobra will sting it, or the snake will sting it. The honey badger will pass out. The honey badger will keep fighting after it's stinged until the snake is dead. Then the honey badger will pass out. The snake's venom won't kill the honey badger. The honey badger will wake up and finish the meal of the snake. Absolutely unbelievable. It's Christian education. The university is literally a double-wide trailer. Read his thesis. It's hilarious. Wolverine has adamantium claws. That's right. That's right. I don't consent. Oh, we got President Trump in the house. Don't consent to the honey badger's contract. Please do not. Please do not. Everybody, I'm only going for a couple more minutes. Please hit the like button. Give me a like. I truly, truly appreciate a good like. Though, what can you expect from something that begins with "Hello, my name is Dr. Kent Hovind"? Joe figures super chat. So, well, thank you, Taze. I appreciate it. I don't even have my PayPal. I don't even put it up. You can find it on my other channel if you want to send me something on PayPal. You can make one-time donations on Patreon as well. Go to my Patreon. I appreciate it. Every dollar counts, and all the money I get is going to go to me, improving the show and spending time creating content like the book that I am working on, that hopefully all of you will truly enjoy and get something out of. King Trump. From a diploma mill. I don't consent to the honey. Yeah, I missed the whole honey badger thing. I've been watching. There's this cool channel if you guys are into animals and nature and shit. It's called Animal Logic, and I've been really watching that. I was watching Animal Logic, and then well, actually, PayPal does, Taze, because they don't take a percentage. Patreon takes a percentage. But Patreon's cool because it allows you to send me money every month, which I really like. It's like a subscription. Really helps me out. And then Patreon, I also send, I've been sending portions of my book to everybody at Patreon. I've also been sending them to people on my email list. What I'm going to try to do, just FYI, everyone, if you sign up for my Patreon, when my book comes out, if you are a patron on my Patreon, you get a free copy of the book. If you are a patron on Patreon, I will send you a free copy of the Sovereign Citizen book. Rip on the bong and watch Kent Hovind videos. I swear it's hilarious. I bet. You can claim me as a dependent, Taze. I'm not saying the IRS is going to listen to you, but go for it, man. You always have a hanging blanket from our particular branch of the service. I hope so. Listen, I'm a bachelor, okay? What happened, I don't have blinds on this window, and it gets in my way when I'm watching TV. You like my ugly couch here? All right, so I put that up. That was my answer to not putting up blinds. Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I'll get you guys some of that information real quick. I should put it in my description. Here's a lot of my contact info. Shit. I can't put all in there. Damn. One at a time. I don't here. You can send me messages. I go on to Twitter, but I don't post on there a lot. But there's my Twitter. This is my email. This isn't the email I prefer to use, but if you want to PayPal me, you can PayPal me on that. Email.com. This is the email for. Okay, that's my email for this stuff. If you send me stuff related to my channel at joseph.pometto@gmail.com, it may get buried. Literally one of the few conspiracies he doesn't believe in is flat Earth for some reason. Huh, interesting. I don't know. Does the Bible talk about flat Earth? That Twitter doesn't even exist. That twatter. Really? That Twitter doesn't exist? The Twitter I put up? Hang on. Oh shit, that's my old Twitter. Hang on. See how I've updated this stuff? Thank you, Mac Mike. I appreciate it. I'll be with you, darling, soon. I don't, it's here. I think this is it. It's Joe Pometto at Joe knows laws. Just go look at my name. Just look up my name, Joe Palmetto. I'll have to figure that out. You'll see my lovely face though. The picture, and if you go to my Twitter, and the picture's about 7-8 years old. So I don't know. I'm probably 10 pounds lighter and better looking. The Torah definitely says the earth is flat. Interesting, but I honestly don't think God is testing us for which of us takes this crap literally or not. Some flat earthers believe the Bible describes a flat earth. Interesting. I didn't know that. You better know it, Chief. The Bible talks about corners of the earth and claims that you can see all the kingdoms in the world for a tall mountain. And Genesis talks about a firmament. Other than that, not really. I didn't know if the Bible referred to it one way or another, but it makes sense if the flat earthers that would be their authority or one of their authority. Joe, you don't exist, not as the person only. Well, it depends which Joe you're talking about. There is this is me here. I'm the natural person. This is the free person. Okay. Joe Palmetto is just a piece of paper on a treasury account created by the United States Treasury in order to deposit the money that was loaned to them in my name from a foreign country. The Bible Skeptic does an amazing series of videos about how the Bible claims there's a flat earth. The Bible Skeptic. Hey, Veronica, you're giving me all kinds of stuff to check out. Okay, everybody, I haven't eaten dinner tonight. I'm starving. I thank all of you tremendously for joining me tonight. Thank you, everyone, for the super chats. Thank you for just coming in, spending time with me, talking about sovereign citizens. I'll be back here. I'm going to try to go every Wednesday. Check out all my new videos. Thank you for the likes. Common Sense Academy out. Again, I appreciate it all of you very, very much. Have a terrific evening and stay safe.